Between 2013 and 2015, Google and Facebook were at the height of their power, empires with seemingly unbreakable digital defenses. Yet, in that time, they were tricked into wiring over $120 million to a man they had never met. There was no complex code, no server breach. The architect of the theft wasn't a hacker. He was a 40-something man from Vilnius, Lithuania, named Evaldas Rimasauskas. And his weapon of choice was a simple email. He wasn't a programmer or a dark web phantom. He was just a man with an almost insultingly simple idea. He knew he didn't need to break down the walls of the castle. He just needed to convince someone to open the gate. This is the story of how forged invoices and carefully crafted emails fooled two of the world's biggest companies, proving the greatest vulnerability isn't in the code, but in the human mind. To understand the crime, you first have to understand who Evaldas Rimasauskas wasn't. In high-stakes cybercrime, we picture reclusive geniuses. Rimasauskas was not that person. At the time, he was a man in his mid-40s, living an ordinary life in the Lithuanian capital. He held no special status in the global hacking community. He was, for all intents and purposes, a nobody. But he was observant. He understood a fundamental truth about large corporations. They are ultimately vast networks of busy people, following procedure. Rimasauskas' genius wasn't technical, it was social. He devised a plan that exploited not a software flaw, but a flaw in human process. His target was a company most people have never heard of, Quanta Computer. Based in Taiwan, Quanta is one of the world's largest laptop and server manufacturers. For companies like Google and Facebook, paying Quanta for hardware was a routine part of doing business. Invoices worth millions were just another line item in a budget that ran into the billions. This is where Rimasauskas saw his opening. The relationship was huge, but also impersonal. The payments were massive, but also routine. He realized if he could just convincingly impersonate Quanta, he could redirect a fraction of that cash flow into his own pockets. He didn't need to hack their data centers. He just needed to change the bank account number on an invoice. Every great heist begins not with a bang, but with paperwork. For Rimasauskas, the first step wasn't a line of code, it was a business registration form. Sometime in 2013, he traveled to the neighboring country of Latvia and incorporated a new company. The name he chose was precise, deliberate, and the cornerstone of his entire plan, Quanta Computer Inc. He had created a corporate doppelganger that existed legally on paper. This was the first layer of his deception. By creating a legally registered company, he could now open corporate bank accounts in Cyprus and Latvia under a name his targets would recognize. When Google or Facebook's finance department would later wire money, the recipient's name would match their records perfectly. There would be no immediate red flag. It was a brilliant move. He was laundering the money before he had even stolen it, creating a system designed to withstand the initial scrutiny of a corporate finance department. With his corporate structure in place, he moved to the next phase, crafting the bait. He registered look-alike domain names that mimicked the real Quanta Computer's domain, perhaps with a subtle misspelling that a busy employee might overlook. From these domains, he could now send emails that looked official. The stage was set. He had a fake company with a real name, legitimate bank accounts, and an authentic-looking communication channel. He was about to press send.
Let's review the vendor details before approving. Looks good. Proceeding with approval. Perfect. The confirmation is processing.
The core of the attack was a technique known as business email compromise, or BEC. At its heart, it's a deception as old as time, impersonation. Rimasauskas began sending phishing emails to specific employees in Google's and Facebook's finance departments, the people responsible for handling multi-million-dollar wire transfers. The emails were masterpieces of forgery. They used Quanta's real logos, mimicked their tone, and came from the spoofed email addresses. The message itself was simple. Quanta had changed its banking details. Future payments should now be sent to a new bank account. To a busy employee, the request may not have seemed unusual. The email looked real, the request was plausible, and the destination company name matched. And just like that, the payment information was updated. With a few keystrokes, millions destined for Taiwan were rerouted to bank accounts in Latvia and Cyprus under the complete control of Evaldas Rimasauskas. But he knew large wire transfers required more than an email, so he escalated his forgery. He created forged invoices that mirrored real ones, along with fake contracts and letters that appeared to be signed by executives from the victim companies. He even used fake corporate stamps to emboss the documents, adding a layer of physical authenticity to his digital charade. For over 2 years, from 2013 to 2015, the scam ran like clockwork. In 2013, Google sent $23 million. Over the course of the scheme, Facebook sent a staggering $98 million. The money simply vanished into his network of accounts, and for 2 years, no one noticed a thing. For 2 years, the system worked flawlessly. With millions pouring into his accounts, Rimasauskas immediately funneled the funds to a complex web of other accounts in Slovakia, Lithuania, Hungary, and Hong Kong to obscure the trail. He was a ghost in the machine, silently siphoning a fortune. But every perfect crime has its fatal flaw. In late 2015, the real quantum computer in Taiwan noticed something was wrong. They hadn't received payments they were owed. As Google and Facebook investigated, they made a shocking discovery. They had paid the invoices, but to the wrong quanta. They alerted the authorities, and the FBI launched a full-scale investigation. Investigators followed the money trail, but the key to identifying the architect lay in the tools he used. This is where Rimasauskas made his critical error. When registering one of the fraudulent domains, he used his own real personal information. It was the digital equivalent of a bank robber, leaving his driver's license at the scene. This single data point connected the fake domains, the emails, and the Latvian company to one man, Evaldas Rimasauskas of Vilnius, Lithuania. The net began to close. In March 2017, Lithuanian authorities, acting on a warrant from the United States, arrested him. The arrest marked the end of his criminal enterprise. In August 2017, Rimasauskas was extradited to the Southern District of New York to face federal charges. The man who orchestrated his theft from thousands of miles away was now in a Manhattan courtroom. The evidence was overwhelming. Facing a potential sentence of up to 30 years, he pleaded guilty to one count of wire fraud. In court, he admitted, "I fully understood that my actions were fraud." In December 2019, U.S. District Judge George B. Daniels sentenced Evaldas Rimasauskas to 60 months, 5 years, in federal prison.
The evidence is clear.
Defendant, you will now answer for these transfers.
He was also ordered to forfeit nearly $50 million. U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman captured the significance of the case. Rimasauskas carried out his high-tech theft from halfway across the globe, but he got sentenced to prison right here in Manhattan Federal Court. The aftermath also revealed something surprising. While Rimasauskas had stolen over $120 million, both Google and Facebook acted quickly and managed to recover most, if not all, of their funds. In the end, the case of Evaldas Rimasauskas serves as a stark warning. He proved that the biggest companies in the world could be compromised not by a complex algorithm, but by a simple, well-told lie. He exploited the single greatest vulnerability that exists in any organization: trust. The employees at Google and Facebook weren't foolish. They were following procedures, trusting that the communications they received were legitimate. It proves that in the intricate dance between human psychology and digital systems, sometimes the simplest move is the most effective. If this story shocked you, subscribe now to Krypt Files for more unbelievable true crime and tech heists. Hit the like button, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next mystery.